Welcome to 𝐄𝐓𝐇𝐄𝐑𝐄𝐔, where we talk about investing, finance, and professional development. As the current time of 9:16 a.m. on Eastern Time on Friday, September 9th, the overall market on this morning so far has been, relatively green as we are trying to snap away from the consecutive days of sell-off that we've been enduring so far, or just basically the technical head and shoulder pattern being, performed in front of us. And with respect to the technical spectrum that we've been observing so far, we are foreshadowing some short-term surge on a daily perspective. So it seems like today on a Friday, ahead of obviously next week is going to be a quite colorful one. With respect to 13 and 14 will be the CPI and the PPI report that's happening on 13 and 14. 15 is the Ethereum merge date, right? Or at least officially, that's what it is. But we might miss the date or get, postponed if there's something technical that's happening. But if that was the case, that will be, that would be terrible for human psychology and also the trust that we have onto Ethereum, but also on this infrastructural and platform as well. So I hope that we don't see any exogenous news that might kind of deter or shift away from our, aspiration or the anticipated pressure that we will have on this coming Friday. And then subsequent to that, in the following week on the 20th and the 21st, will be the FOMC meeting, which will obviously collect all the wisdom that we've had so far and the efficacy with respect to the two rate hikes at 75 basis points that we've had so far. Are we going to go with another one? Or are we seeing progression from the collective effort that we've been doing so far? So we see, right? It seems like on the political front, beside obviously, the Queen Elizabeth D-Day happened yesterday. Today's D+1. So per our discussions yesterday, we understand like what's the procedure going forward. They are being quite tactical, and they have basically thought out this whole operational plan on how they're going to be, building on the succession, and obviously with respect to the Queen's funeral and her departure in progress going forward. The secondary factor on the domestic front, it seems like the two top House Democrats are seeking review on whether airlines, which they have been suffering a lot despite, we have this slight summer rebound, use the COVID bailout fund for the staff buyouts. Obviously, human capital front is extremely critical, and most of the time whenever companies are suffering, they're either trimming their real estate front, which for airline companies, I don't know how much real estate they have holding, but the human capital front, which is their staff and crew, their pilots, would be the most important, right? So today surge collectively is not really a specific catalyst, but it's just more of a technical exercise that we've been expecting. So let's just dive right into it. Respective recording time again, 9:19 a.m. on the Eastern Time. We're surging up to 1700, 1722, but I would say that we're technically at 1700 right now because of the resistance that we're clearly forming, that we've had if you look into this mega red candle on the 26th, right? So with respect to the technical right now, you could see that we clearly have this golden cross, and at the same time we are at the 59 out of 70, so quite extended, right? And an ominous factor that we are seeing is that we are still sustained for quite some time with respect to on the weekly front, this golden cross. So we need to kind of cross down eventually in the short term, weeks out, right? Makes sense, right? So as we get approaching the next week, right, the CPI, the PPI, the merge day, with this typically buy the rumors, sell the news type of affectation, we should ideally see some negativity ahead, which is very normal. So we have been talking about this for weeks now. Thank you again for joining me, watching me, and this is not predicting anything. This is just technical speaking the truth. Like I'm not in a position of predicting the future, but what you're seeing right now, it seems like we've been pretty on point with respect to the technical analysis so far. And on the monthly, we are still going to see some bullishness. And Bitcoin, you can see that we're up 9% right now. On the monthly, still very bullish. Let's see on the weekly. the weekly is still in the same factor, similar to Ethereum, but we need to eventually still need to cross down before we cross up, right? On a daily, it looks quite bullish, as we were talking about, right? We've been looking for cross section for quite some time. So right now we are matching with the previous resistance level that we have had ever since the 19th of August back in the day, that we've durated all the way to the 26th. So right now it's just normalizing back down, up 9%. But is this sustainable? I would say the answer is no, because of the fact that the weekly is still quite bearish, right? As we obviously get, excuse me, over the hump for next week, you know, and obviously the monumental factor on the 20th and 21st on the FOMC meeting, we should ideally see some interesting bullish pressure coming. And in addition to that, why is today the equity market green as well? Check out our Patreon updates. You'll see that there's been a lot of whales buying yesterday. And you'll see the comprehensive list, and you could also see that I've been posting some YouTube shorts recently. So feel free to take a look at that as well. Yeah, so they were like, just specifically talk about BlackRock, they spent about 11 or 12 billion dollars onto equity market yesterday. And if you look at the composition of the stocks, a lot of tech stocks and a lot of small growth, high growth stocks as well. Seems like they know something about the market momentum. Like, we are trying to snap the 3-week losing streak onto pumping up to just kind of normalize back a little bit before the crazy chaotic next week, right? So appreciate you. Have a good rest of the weekend, and I'll check you on the next one. Take care.